Meister here. Welcome to the realm on another rainy spring Saturday in 2025. Can you believe that? Well, I cannot fathom that it is already June. This spring passed by way too rapidly. Unbelievably so. So as usual, my first excursion this year was to Veneta, to the Queensferry Renaissance Festival, and Ace Ellardo was very generous in providing bubbles galore each day. Children of all ages seem to freeze in their tracks and lose themselves. They do not freeze. They lose themselves in the moment when bubbles are drifting in the wind. The long, drawn-out bubbles with the thousands that come at them at once with a good wind behind them. I enjoy being at the Queensferry pub scene area as it overlooks the entire fair site in the afternoons at the end of the day. Part of the Bailey family ministry was able to perform during the pub sing this year, which really brought life and spirit to the event. They're very good group. And they're a class act that every Ren Fair should employ every time they open the gates. This year at Queensferry, I was astonished to be awarded with the Queensferry Herald Award. Can I even get this huge award in the frame? Oh my goodness. It said that I am in the Order of the Noble Rampant Lion, protector of Queensferry. Go that way. Protector of Queensferry for traveling hither and yon, promoting all events and festivals in the known lands. I've never been so eloquently recognized. A huge gramercy to the court of this wonderful event. Thank you so much for that award. And speaking of the court, during the festival this year, King James V handed over his crown to Queen Marie de Guise. Guise? There's a little French. Some of the French I do not know how to pronounce, other than some of the battle areas between the French and the English in the 13th and 1400s. Nevertheless, I wonder what changes the new queen will bring to Queensferry. We must travel back to Veneta next year to find out. The second of my journeys this spring led me to the Guthrie Renaissance Festival again. Huzzah! John Pagonis keeps adding something new every year. And this year, 2025, it was a Viking ship, which looked quite seaworthy. And my favorite items of the things he has made is still the working trebuchet. Such weapons were a major draw for me to fall in love with Renaissance festivals over 20 years ago. So I do love the trebuchets, and if only I could fit one of those in my backyard, I would be a terror of the neighborhood. So Blackwell, their second gym of the Shikaski Renfest, followed the week after Guthrie. It was the last weekend of March this year. They had much better fair weather this year, and I liked the venue for the Regalia International Birds of Prey, with it being under some tall trees. One can tell that crew earnestly does their job to educate patrons and not just look for applause for the slightest movement of a fowl. That is a very good event this year, and the last I heard, it will be moving to the end of this October and give the fall season a whirl to see how it goes then. Drink here. Pardon me for a second. I need a bit of refreshment. Well, on a sad note, the Norman Medieval Fair experienced terrible weather all 3 days this year. Cold rain ruined the desire of tens of thousands who wanted to attend the event. Some I saw on posts online wonder why this event does not move to a different month with better weather. However, it is very unusual that all 3 days have bad weather during the weekend, and uh, it is a good time to have it actually overall over the years. I submit that this year's double dose of bad weather was an anomaly, and perhaps we should not have to endure such a full weekend of such distasteful weather ever again. I have found that over the years that it will be the time to visit the Norman Medieval Fair once again before we know it. Much as the spring has passed so quickly, before we know it, it will be the end of March, the beginning of April again next year. I believe it'll be on the first weekend of April in the year of our Lord 2026. So my visits this year to Castleton were grand as I saw my family of patrons, performers, and vendors once again. I even saw a friend I attended high school with that I had not seen in over 10 years, which is a very good reunion. A 1 or 2 person reunion instead of the whole high school class. And at Muskogee, watching Bob the Incredible Juggler, Esendil, Volgamut, and the Escapologist is always time well spent. I do enjoy each of their performances. They have a good connection with the crowd. Pardon me. And they tend to liven things up without being too adult of an act. So Muskogee's close proximity and taking my own lunch helps to offset the increasing prices at the ticket booth and the food booths. I talked to many people across the region without even prompting them, and they said they can no longer afford the gate fees at Muskogee. Will OKRF continue to price themselves out of patrons at this rate? We shall see. This year, I noticed that turkey legs were $18 at OKRF. I heard that they were $20 at Norman for a turkey leg, not a leg of lamb, not a crab leg, a turkey leg. It was ridiculous. They were $6 6 years ago. Now they're triple that price or more in some locations. I'm glad I only eat turkey legs during the holidays because I would be incredulous and obstinate about buying any at the fairs for those prices. Although other food prices have gone up as well. Small meat pies used to be $6, $7, $12 now. Ridiculous for a salty meat pie. I will not name the vendor that has those, but you can see them at Scottish and Renaissance festivals. That is way too much money, and prices are going down this year. I've noticed my grocery bills going down the last few months. The fillet of chicken, their meals cost less. Prices are going down. I do not know why food prices are going up at fairs or ticket prices. Very well. So, did you happen to see my public service announcement number 8 here on this on my YouTube channel, Craig Meister? It has 8 tips on how to save money when going to Renaissance fairs, and some of these tips have allowed me to save hundreds of dollars over the years, maybe even into the thousands, and allowed me to enjoy more fairs, get into more fairs each year, and stay within my budget to do so. So check that out, and you can learn more ways to save money to offset some of the prices. Even if they start to come back down, let me proclaim that when they start to come back down, you can still afford to go to more events, spend more money on clothes at the festivals, jewelry, CDs, thumb drives of music, however you acquire your music nowadays. I'm still old school. I like the CDs. Pardon me. Then one of the tips in PSA number 8 is to take your own lunch. For years, I've eaten a sandwich on the way and drank a smoothie on the way to the festival to substitute as breakfast and brunch. But now I'll take a small ice chest and put my lunch in there in the middle of the day, go back out to my car, eat lunch, reapply the sunscreen on my fair skin, and go back in for the rest of the afternoon. It has helped save me lots of money and helped me avoid standing in long lines at the food trucks and booths at several different festivals. So while I'm in my car, I put on my music on my phone, Renaissance or Celtic music, and I can be entertained instead of just standing in line, watching people walk by. Sometimes there's a stage nearby where someone's performing, often there's not. So, and I've seen some long lines. I would not stand in line for 30 or 45 minutes. Out to the car, chomp, chomp, apply, back in. That has saved me $200 or $300 last year, and at least $100 so far this year. So I hope these ideas can get you into more gates throughout the year and have more fun at fairs. Anyway, back to my travels. I also ventured to Joplin, Missouri this spring for the Silver Sage Renaissance Festival. Up until 2 years ago, it was being held in Garden City, Kansas, out north of Dodge City. And it was a nice festival. I went to the one there in the year of our Lord 2023. And they moved to a place where they had the Joplin Ren Fest in 2008, which was on Main Street, just a couple of miles north of I-44. And they did a good job at Silver Sage of filling in the wide open spaces. It was built a little bit of flatland and then on a huge hill, parking at the top and booths along the hill. But it was not quite as spread out as it was 17 years ago. I was fortunate enough to see the always enthusiastic Holly Black. And I also caught the Bailey Family Ministry performing there as well. Let me do that again. Huzzah! Plus, I ran into Don Upton. Oh my word. I could not believe I saw him there. He was a gentleman that ran the Northwest Arkansas Renaissance Festival and used to let me set up my booth and hand out flyers when I was just starting to put the word out about Ren Fairs. He suggested in 2009 that I put my list of festivals on a website. So that is one of the things that helped me expand, getting the word out on where to find festivals. Gramercy for the nudge, Don. I hope you have a very blessed year. Passing through the gates this year were not my only adventures, though. I also started the RenFest Info and Fun podcast. My desire for creating it first stirred in me in late spring of last year. Listening to different podcasts. It is a mix of music and some tips for running Renaissance fairs and others. I'm having a bit of lawn equipment problems here. Ren fairs and interviews with the special people who have helped make these wonderful events happen, as well as an episode covering medieval and Renaissance era astronomy. I've received a lot of help and guidance from Ez and Dill putting this podcast together. So I truly appreciate the help, you two. Gramercy, so much. More podcasts are coming to a platform near you. I just last week published podcast number 10, episode 10, which was a transfer of my YouTube interview with Karina Campbell. I added it because she will be on a RenFest panel with me and the other 3 Rennies that I've interviewed so far on my podcast. Tina Nettles, Holly Ann Black, and Heath Miller. We will be in Oklahoma City's Lost Dimension Fantasy Fest in Costumacon. I hope I pronounced that right, on Saturday, July 26th. We've also applied to be on the schedule as a panel for the Oklahoma Comic-Con in Tulsa on August 9th and 10th. We would be overjoyed to see a huge Rennie contingent at these dry air-conditioned events. Prithee, come ask us questions so we can educate the masses of the other people at the cons about how wonderful Renfests are. I will post updates about our panel appearances, perhaps, as the time draws nigh. Where you can find us, if there's a certain hall, what time or times we will be able to get up and present and ask questions or answer questions to everyone at the hall. And this sounds like a fun experience. Mayhaps we could get together and do these for years and years, mayhaps at other cons as well in the region. That would be fun. Get to do these things in the middle of the summer, mayhaps in the winter when it's cold outside. Get an excuse to get some Rennies together. Come hang out with us. For future reference, are there questions you would like to ask of me on a Facebook Live such as this? If so, please leave me a comment or send me a message via the Book of Faces or to craig@meistersrealm.com. If I get enough responses or one question that it take a long time to explain the answer or go into great depth and detail, I could set up a time and a day or night to do just that. I believe that mayhaps I could even bring you in on the live discussion during the podcast and people could see you asking questions. If so, if you would like to put on your garb or sit, if it's in the daytime, sit outside where people can see some greenery behind you. I have an issue here living inside of a town, so I have the tapestries, but I could bring you in. We could talk about Renaissance festivals. Well, I would like to, Graham, thank you for tuning in this day. And I would like to say gramercy to my sponsors, the Ren Fair Angel, How Creative Creations, the Bluffwoods Renaissance Festival in St. Joseph, Missouri, Rotten Dave's Wooden Mugs, and Twisted Thistle Trading. Huzzah and gramercy to all of you. If I do not get enough questions to do a Facebook Live answering questions, I will at least do another Facebook Live towards August before the fall season starts. And as I mentioned before, I will be putting out more podcasts this summer and fall. I have a very fun, I can foresee podcast interview coming out in July. And I have at least one, probably two more music podcasts I can think of off the top of my head. And I have big plans for other interview podcasts with panels, perhaps, as well. Hopefully at the, let me say it again, Lost Dimension Fantasy Fest and Costumicon, hopefully I can set up a camera and we can put that on YouTube. I'm not sure if we can do it on the Book of Faces Live because of the feed rate, but hopefully we can put that on YouTube and I can put it on my YouTube channel, Craig Meister. So visit meistersrealm.com to find the festival listing for all the festivals across North America, Renaissance, Scottish, medieval, fantasy, all of those festivals. And new ones are popping up every day. I find on the Book of Faces, or someone will send me a message, gramercy to those of you who have done so. Bruce Woods, Mark Kress, sometimes from David Leroy. Gramercy. Those tips, let me get those on my list. If any of you know of any festivals that I do not have listed, let me know about them and I will put them on. Even such a small thing, Karina Campbell mentioned one, a small Renaissance festival in the library, just in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, last Wednesday, the Wednesday before, in the middle of the day. If we can get out and attend such small festivals like that, or at libraries, and we can flood them with Rennies, maybe we'll decide, hey, we can put this on a weekend and have vendors and performers, and it could grow into a large Renaissance festival. That kind of happened for a while in the late 2008, 9, at the Tulsa Renaissance Festival at one of the libraries in Tulsa on 36th and Garnett, 26th and Garnett. It got large enough it had to move outside. Had the Twisted Blades performing and some music by Dustin Cooper, and I believe a few others. So it can happen. Let us make it happen. Make more fairs. Gramercy, enjoy your day, enjoy your summer, and tune in frequently. Huzzah!